Hello, Kipsters. Hope you guys had an awesome day off of school. I originally had a different video planned for today, but because I got the recorders yesterday and I saw what was inside the bag, I wanted to kind of just do an unboxing video with you while we have them in our hand finally and we've seen what comes with it. I also wanted to address the students who may be watching this who don't yet have a recorder. If you do not have a recorder yet, I just got a donation cleared for us to get 100 more recorders. So hopefully in the next 2 weeks we will have just or over more than enough for everyone to have. Unfortunately, I miscalculated the amount of students that needed one when I originally put the order in, but we just got confirmed for 100 more. So in 2 weeks, no less, you will have a recorder in your hand. Once we kind of figure out how to get it to you, we'll do that with your parents. But if you don't have one, you can still pay attention, you can still watch, and if you want, you can ask your parent to buy you one. They're very inexpensive on Amazon, and of course, having more than one isn't so bad, and you can give one to your little brother or your sister, and you can maybe teach them how to play. But for now, those of you who do have a recorder, please pay attention closely. And those of you who may not, that is okay. Again, you can still pay attention and see what you will be getting. But for now, just sit quiet, just sit idly by and watch as we go through this. Okay, so as you can see, I'm holding this recorder. These are very nice, by the way. The ones that I saw in the picture, they were more plastic and see-through and very colorful. These are more fancy and more, adult, I would say. I do like these quite a bit, and these are the ones that I remember playing also when I was a kid and also learning at my last school that I taught at. These are the ones that we use there as well. So I just kind of wanted to break down this instrument with you and again go through the contents that it came with. Most of you, if not all of you, got it in a bag. This is technically its case. So you're going to want to keep your instrument in this when you can, okay? Not necessarily to make it so that you don't step on it or something, because if you stepped on this, you would still break it. It's a plastic bag. But just to keep it in a place, a consistent place that you always know where it's at. It doesn't get any dust on it. It stays clean in here. It's a nice case. It's just a nice place to put your recorder. You don't just want to put it on the ground. You don't want to put it somewhere else where it will just get clothes or something thrown over top of it. Each time you play this, just take the extra 2 seconds to put it back inside of the case, okay? It's not going to take you that much time to do that, and it's just extra, like I said, one extra step to make sure that this instrument maintains as long as it possibly can, which is what we want. I know people who still have their recorder from when they were kids because they maintained them, and that is very possible for you, okay? Also in the bag, you guys have this blue paper. Now, on this paper here, it just kind of gives you a rundown of what this instrument is. Thank you for purchasing this 3-piece recorder. Before playing, take a quick moment to read through this. With proper care, your new instrument will give you and your family many years of enjoyment with proper care, okay? So yeah, go ahead and read this on your own. I'm not going to read this whole thing to you. I'll read some of it, but essentially this is just giving you a rundown of what the instrument you have in your hand is. It also gives you tips on how to play, which is something I've been doing as well in these videos, or will be doing once you see them in the next couple of days. But this is also very, very helpful here to just practice on your own time when I don't have a video for you to watch. So on the back here, I'll read one more thing on the front here, but on the back here you see that it shows you the holes, the numbers of the holes and where they are exactly. It also shows you over here how to play every note on the recorder. Now, we most likely won't learn how to play every note on the recorder. It takes a long time to be very skilled at this instrument. But if you ever did need to remember what a note was, you can look on here and see exactly how to play it. So if you were playing something that you maybe looked up on YouTube and I didn't teach you that note yet, because I'm not going to teach you all the notes. It takes too much time to learn every note in one sitting. If you needed extra help, you could check this fingering chart out on your own, or you can also Google a fingering chart. Those are very much so always on there and very handy as well. All right. So yeah, this blue paper, very not important to keep, but it is nice to have in your case. You don't really need to keep it anywhere. You take it out once if you need to check something out, and then you just gently Gently put it back in. It's the only one you have, but of course you can find all this information online as well. Okay. Next thing I wanted to show you guys was this black piece here. This piece is technically to clean your instrument, and what you would normally do is put a cloth here. I don't have a cloth for this instrument, and you may not either, but the best tool to use is a cloth. A silk cloth is the very best, but you can obviously use non-silk as well. And what you do is you put the cloth piece through here and kind of pull it out a little bit, give it some slack, and then it goes through here. It cleans out all the spit, all the food you may have eaten before your instrument, which I suggest not doing, and I'll talk about that. That you may have eaten in here. It gets it all out. So if you want to purchase the cloth, that's okay. Not necessary. These recorders stay pretty generally clean, and even if they were to get a little dirty in there, you could always run some hot water through it. I think this would be very fine to run hot water through, which normally gets most things out. But yes, again, this black rod doesn't come with the cloth, but it is to go in here, and you just put a cloth piece through here, and you go back and forth a few times. Make sure you wash that cloth. You don't have to wash it every time, but make sure it does maintain some sort of cleanliness when you were handling it. Okay. A couple things about this recorder. Now, this recorder it is made of 3 pieces. Not all recorders can separate, and this one's nice because it can, but you see here that this piece comes off if you twist it a little bit. You don't need to twist it hard. And this piece comes off. The middle piece here comes off the bottom. So your recorder is technically made up of 3 pieces. Okay. This piece is called the head joint. Okay. So when we maybe take a quiz on this or some other topic, this is the head joint, the top piece. The top piece, your head is on the top. The head of the top of the recorder is also the head of the recorder. So the head joint. All right. And then this piece in the middle here is called the middle joint. All right. It's not the body joint. It could be. I'm sure some people have called it that before, but this is called the middle joint for most of us musicians. And of course it goes in the middle. So you put this piece on top, and you need to make sure that when you put this together that these holes line up. So you see here this little kind of edge to the tone hole here, or to the window for the air to come out, needs to be lined up with this top hole here. All right, it can't be over here. It doesn't look like this with one hole there. All right, you're not going to be able to play it like that. Obviously you need to make sure that this hole on the top is on the same side as all the holes and in line with it. All right, when we put it back together and take it away. And again, you don't need to do a lot of pressure to take these apart. Just be gentle with it. These things are fragile, so they can break. They're not super breakable, but they can if you put enough force on them, of course. And then the last piece we have here is the foot joint, and of course it goes at the bottom. All right. And one thing about the foot joint here, I want to tell you, putting it on, a lot of people tend to try to make all of these in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the 8th hole. And you can, of course. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but it is easier for you to play the pinky if you move it over a little bit. All right, so you see here my pinky doesn't have to go all the way on top, because if it was right here, I'll just move it a little bit. If it was right here, my pinky has to do extra work to cover it. You see how my pinky has to go all the way over here, and it feels a little uncomfortable. But if I make it just to the left a little bit, my pinky rests very calmly there, and it's bent just like the other fingers, and it makes it very easy to play that finger when we have to. We don't have to right now, so it's not super important, but it is nice to have that piece just a little bit off. You don't need to have it all the way off, but just a little bit off this one is very nice for it. Okay. Other than that, the instrument is very self-explanatory. I have, of course, other videos for you to watch that explain more about specific notes, which we will get into. I just maybe wanted to play a little bit with you today to get the instrument playing in your hands. We may not make it to the 3rd video on Friday. I've been trying to come up with this idea to have singing on Friday now, since we have the holidays coming up. I wanted to make sure we were getting some holiday singing in, so I may make Fridays always singing days, but for now just plan on making sure that definitely next week we will be playing quite a bit with the recorder and hopefully reading notes as we go. Okay. So on here you see that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 holes, all right. And you have the 8th hole on the back. This is where your thumb goes. Your left thumb always goes on that hole, all right. It can't be the right thumb. It might feel comfortable for some of you to hold with your right hand, and I've said this in multiple videos, and I'll keep saying it because I'm not with you. I can't see you doing it correctly. Left hand has to be the one that is holding the instrument on the top, okay? I've seen it before. I will see it again. It's easy for you to think your dominant hand belongs on top, but to play this instrument perfectly, it will need to have the left hand on top. Your left hand, again, the thumb goes on the back. That hole is always covered, and when you squeeze it really hard, you get a circle on your thumb. When you squeeze it very hard, that's how you know you're covering the entire hole. Otherwise, it'll squeak. You don't want that. All right, and I'll say this in multiple videos as well. It will squeak if that entire hole is not covered. Okay, so make sure that's the top. That's the first thing we need to make sure that we're doing with our fingers, is that every hole, every time we put a finger down, is fully covered. You don't see any holes right now. You do now. You do now. You kind of do now. All right, but you should not ever see any holes covered, and if they aren't, then your instrument will play very easily like this. All right, we're going to learn how to do that, of course, but it is not easy to do that when we are playing with our holes uncovered. So make sure that that is one of the first things you are practicing and looking down at. You can look down at your fingers and get a check. Like when you play a note, when you play a note wrong like this, you hear that squeak, and I did it very quietly. If I did it loud, it would be very obnoxious. You hear that squeak, just freeze your fingers, freeze them, and look down and see which one of these is not covered. And I see, so I adjust my finger, and then it sounds like this. Very nice and very lovely. But again, if any hole is not covered, squeak city, promise you. All right, after that, we want to make sure that we understand what's happening with our right hand while we're not playing with it. All right, we want to build good habits early so that we don't have to worry about it later. Don't have your hand behind your back. Don't have your hand doing this and that. Don't be texting while you're trying to play the recorder. Put your right thumb on the bottom here. Hold it in place. You can move it around, you can wiggle it, but you see it's not leaving my thumb. It's staying on that thumb. Hold it in place. All right. Normally we would be playing with our full right hand, but we're not there yet. We're not ready for that. So we're not going to make that's not going to be the first thing we work on. And the first thing we're going to work on is these 3 notes over here on the left hand. And we'll talk about these more in depth in the next video, but these are the 3 notes that we will be focusing on: B, A, and G. Okay? And you can say that with me. Try it with me. B, A, and G. Ready? Go. B, A, and G. All right. And as we go down, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, and we go all the way down, and it goes. Every finger is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then you do like this weird middle finger one for the final C. All right. But again, we're only working on 3 notes now, so that we don't get too burnt out on exactly what the purpose is, which is to play this instrument and play it well. All right, let's try to learn a song really quickly. I have another song for you in a couple days, but I wanted to, like I said, make this video. So some of the videos may be reiterating content, but because I got this in my hand, I wanted to make sure that you guys had a video that was showing you exactly what you guys are getting, and addressing also the future recorders that we will get. All right. So I had one of our donors. They said that they wanted us to learn how to play hot cross buns. Hot cross buns is what it was. So we're going to learn how to play hot cross buns. All right. Very easy song. I believe it's the same song we worked on in the next video, but as I said, at the moment, I'm not remembering that. That's all right. Hot cross buns. It only uses 3 fingers, so this is why a lot of the first songs that a lot of kids learn is hot cross buns. Not because it's so easy and we love that song, but because it's easy for us to learn quickly. And learning a song is a very fulfilling feeling for us, so we want to make sure we get that feeling soon. All right. Hot cross buns goes like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3. And sorry, my singing was off a little at the beginning there. But as I say 1, 2, 3, that's just the amount of fingers I have down. Now, of course, our thumb is always on the back. That will never change for this first part of recorder playing. Our thumb is always on the back. So when I say 1, it doesn't mean just one finger, all right? It means the thumb as well, but one finger on top, all right? So then again, we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and it sounds like this when you play it. And you see my right hand is here on the bottom. Oh, and sorry, before we keep going, posture. I'll talk about this more. We talked about it a little bit in maybe a video you saw before, but posture, making sure we're sitting up straight. You saw Mr. Isaac was bent over there. He sits up straight right before he plays. He tries to. It's hard to remember, but he tries to. This should sound like this. All right, and making sure we're blowing with slow air. If we're not blowing with slow air, it's going to squeak. If we're not covering our holes, it's going to squeak. If we're playing very hard, it's going to squeak. So make sure you are avoiding squeaking as much as possible. Again, 1, 2, 3. Try it with me. 1, 2, ready, go. Try it again. I don't know, maybe you got it perfectly, maybe you didn't. Try it again with me. 1, just 1, 2, 3. And while we're doing that, we don't really need to use our tongue. We can if we want, but we just blow air consistently through the instrument and move our fingers down together. 1, 2, ready, go. One more time, and then we'll do it twice in a row this time. So, bum, 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 bum. Try that much. 1, 2, ready, go. And if you want to add the tonguing to it, you just do do, but you have the instrument in your mouth. And it might be easier to squeak as well when we add the tongue, but you're going to want to make sure you know how to play with your tongue very early on so we don't have to worry about that little issue later, which is always an issue. The harder the music gets, the harder it is to tongue, okay? This doesn't stop happening, so we need to make sure we get it while it's easy so that we can conquer it when it's hard. One more time, 2 times through. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Try it. 1, 2, ready, go. I feel like that was a good one. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was. We'll do it one more time just for the people, and then we will go on the next time. 1, 2, ready, go. The next part, we stay all 3 fingers down. You have to use your tongue here because this is how we separate notes that are the same. We could go like this, and we just like blow 4 times in it. Or we can use our tongue and just break it up 4 times. And you see how that's much more clear than. And you can try that if you want to practice the tonguing and the hooing and the making sure there's a difference. But what we do now is we go 3 fingers 4 times, 2 fingers 4 times. So you see how my fingers move? 3 fingers 4 times. 2 fingers 4 times. And then we do the same thing again. Alright? Song's not that difficult. It's very repetitive and it's very easy to conquer. So if you guys get it in the first day, that's awesome. If you don't, keep trying. We're going to play this song again, I promise. Goes like this again, 4 times on 3 fingers. 2 fingers 4 times. We're going to play the whole song, and then we're going to be done with today's video, okay? And I promise we'll get more playing in as we go. So we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3. Try it. 1, 2, ready, go. got that, thumbs up. I will continue to bring that song to us so that we can all get that perfectly. Not all of us learn at the same pace. We are not all the same, and some of us have a better musician capability, and some of us need a little more work. Don't be discouraged. You guys have it. I promise you, we'll all be able to play that song by the end of this year, if not before the end of the school year. As always, Mr. Isaac has 3 things for you. You are kind, you are smart, you are important. Again, I am so sorry for those of you who don't have your recorders yet. If you don't, consider buying your own, but you can wait also 2 weeks until you get yours in your hand. Until then, I hope you guys find some joy in these videos as well. You can practice with the fingers if you don't have yours yet. 1, 2, 3, and just get that ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3. Fingering is a great way to continue working even if you don't have an instrument in your hand. Have an awesome day, you guys. I hope to see you very, very soon. And until then, have a great night.